Previously on Stallion's channel. Now, today we've got another one for the history books where I try to show you guys what I believe to be a major flaw in this game. Before anyone asks, no, this is not a video about passing. I know, I'm just as surprised as you. Greetings and welcome to another video. First things first, thank you so much for the support on my offensive AI video. I am absolutely mind blown, and so many of you had so many great things to say, so a big thank you to all of you guys. With tons of new faces and subscribers on the channel, as you may have guessed from the first clip foreshadowing in this video, we have a passing slash interception slash assistance video once again. We have discussed so much of this on the channel, but we always get new clips, new ways of showcasing it, so let's showcase what we're all about to the new subs. I'll also be linking a tweet in the description box down below of a friend of mine showcasing some nasty examples, so go check it out and share that tweet because they're very similar to the things that we will discuss today. However, passes that work which shouldn't work have been around for a very long time. I've talked about this a ton, but the past few years it feels like these things occur way too much, hence why I often discuss it. Plenty of arguments that have been used against me don't really make sense, so I'll explain a few of them why today. There's levels to how broken passes and passing assistants are, and how manual interceptions are punished, so let's break it down. Level 1. Basic horrible passes that somehow still go through you. Be it the almighty nutmeg, be it the double taps which lift the ball in awkward ways, or generally terrible passing decisions where the passer has a horrible angle. Sometimes incredible passes get pulled off when they really shouldn't. The argument I've seen for this is that, as they say, the football is round, anything can happen, so some randomness is inevitable. While true, not only have these things been way too common in the past few years, but a nutmeg will be 10 times worse in a game like FIFA 20 where it's all about near post nation and drag back city. On a slightly related but unrelated note, this is also why I laugh when last year people used to say, oh, at least in FIFA 18 you had to get into the box. Bruh, FIFA 18 had the all-time worst passing ever, as in passing took so little skill that getting in the box was easier than ever. In essence though, it lays the foundation for this game, as in a game where bad decisions go unpunished, while the poor guy who actually stood in the right place gets rigged beyond belief. However, the next level or stage is actually where it gets mind-blowing, and it can be shown in so many different ways. Level 2. Passing assistance to punish manual interceptions. Don't get me wrong, level 1 passes like nutmegs are rigged, but at least they're not trying to hide it. It's wrong, but it's being honest about being wrong and rigging you. This level is full of stuff that so many people don't even realize, and it's basically conning players to the highest degree without them knowing. Here, for example, we can all guess who my opponent wants to pass to. I know where I have to go to read it and intercept the pass, but the game will more often than not pass where you aren't going to be. So no matter where you mark, it'll always get assisted somewhere else. And it would be great to know if my opponent here pressed the ground pass or the through pass, so I could silence the doubters, because playing the game should be enough to know that what I'm saying is right, but you know, a lot of people like to play devil's advocate, but the next example will show you how it doesn't really matter what someone presses. Here, I'm the one making the pass, and I'm telling you right now, my intention was to pass it towards the inside and curl it around my opponent. I'm also pressing the ground pass button, and you can even see my aim on 2 different visuals on the screen to prove that I was aiming downwards. My opponent reads that to perfection. Now, had he not read it, I would have been able to pass where I initially wanted. But because he does read it, as you can see, the game assists my pass upwards to ensure that my opponent doesn't get it. So in either case, it was a lose-lose for my opponent. So whether someone presses a ground pass or not, it doesn't matter. The passing in this game is absolutely rigged. So at this point, some people might think, okay, then the solution is to make passing manual. I don't think that's a realistic thing. At the end of the day, the game has to appeal to everybody. Yes, in football, real passes aren't linear. In the examples mentioned and also on the one you see on the screen right now, it's possible in real life to pass to either side and have the teammate run to the ball. But this is a video game, and I firmly believe that certain things that are realistic don't play out well in a video game, this being one of them. I can tell you right now that before performing this pass, this was the face that I made as I realized my mistake. I was sure my opponent would get it, but would you look at that? Which brings me to yet another point that people slam in my face. That being, at the end of the day, passing is the same for both opponents, so it's still fair game. Well, not really. If you spent years developing certain decision making to make an extra pass and create a triangle to safely get to your desired target, as opposed to passing to the desired target initially, you'll benefit from this less. Because more often than not, you're going the long route instead of going the shorter route because you assume the pass won't work when actually the assistance might actually make it work. Regardless of that, not everything is about winning or losing. My videos are not an endless log of feedback to create a game where I never lose. From a casual standpoint, I've had every rank I can wish for in Weekend League, from any elite rank to the perfect undefeated Weekend League and top 100. This isn't about winning or losing. This is about enjoyability, and seeing these things work is not an enjoyable solution, so here is my feedback. And the next examples will show you how ludicrous this assistance can get, which completely disproves the whole it benefits both players argument, because I'm sorry, I'm just not blind enough to go for certain blocked passes. Here, I am jockeying with my Ferdinand to do everything in my power to block the obvious pass my opponent is trying to make to his Ronaldinho. As I jockey, I am tracking the Ronaldinho who starts running upwards. What happens next is nothing short of extraordinary. The pass goes the complete opposite direction to where his Dino was going and to where I know he was aiming, and despite that, his Dino locks onto the ball, stops going upwards, and starts running the other way. Meanwhile, I have to manually track back despite correctly tracking the initial movement and the initial intention. What the game does here is simple. It makes sure my opponent will be able to retain possession despite making a horrible decision and pressing pass that should have led to my interception. In FIFA 20, players change their direction to help the bad passing decisions all the time, and it happens in many different shapes and forms. Here, for example, you can see my opponent's R9 is clearly running straight ahead. Only, and I repeat, only after my opponent's pass has been performed does his AI, his R9, change direction to lock onto the pass that went nowhere near where my opponent initially aimed or where his R9 was initially going. It is all rigged to make sure bad passes constantly connect. How am I supposed to mark both the run being made and the imaginary run that happens once the game realizes I marked the original run? What's absolutely comedy is that the one time we get a decent offensive run, which is funny because of the video we just posted that went viral. Here, we finally press triangle for the obvious through ball. We're so happy we have a good run. In FIFA 20, I know it's unbelievable. The gap is massive. The space is there. There is no need for assistance. We have a good passer, yes, on his weak foot, but a 4-star weak foot. Everything is perfect for Team of the Season Verratti to complete this easy pass. And yeah. The clip speaks for itself, and I've shown something similar before, but essentially there you have it. The obvious, open, clear pass to which nobody would bat an eye to gets assisted to benefit the guy who could have been fairly cut open. Meanwhile, all the assistance that makes this gameplay fraudulent still happens on a consistent basis. These, however, are the types of passes that are harder to pull off than nonsensical blocked ones. Because if you're just watching this and you don't really play FIFA 20, you might be thinking, it's just 1 in a million. But I don't know if you'll believe me, take my word for it. But the general sense is that the passes and examples I showed you earlier of assisted passes work way too consistently. Meanwhile, this year, there's a general consensus that these types of through balls somehow seem to magnetize to the keeper, and they're harder to pull off than what are seemingly hard passes. Anyways, that's going to be it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, a comment as well. Anyways, I'll be making other types of videos as well. Don't you worry, I'm not always here just to give feedback. But I appreciate all of your support, and I'll catch you next time.